ChatGPT got released a while back, yet there is not a single comprehensive course based on proved information provided by OpenAI itself. That's why I'm here. I've condensed all the most relevant information regarding ChatGPT. This information comes from OpenAI blog posts, Discord server, a lot. And I mean a lot of experience. But what is it actually teaching you? Well, in the first lesson, you're going to log in and learn a basic introduction about GPT. Then we're going to talk about basic prompting techniques, so that even if you know nothing about ChatGPT, you're going to be able to catch up. After that, we're going to dive into advanced prompt engineering, and we're going to uncover 12 prompting techniques which are going to explain to you how to leverage ChatGPT 3.5, the free version, to its max. For example, in lesson 7, we are going to talk about how to give ChatGPT 3.5 internet access, even if it's a feature that is theoretically designed only to be available for GPT-4. As we finish the actual ChatGPT Masterclass, where you're going to learn everything about GPT, we're going to then move on to 3 practical ways to use ChatGPT right now. We're going to get onto Instagram SEO so that you can optimize your Instagram description in order to appeal to your potential customers if you're a business. We are then going to move on to YouTube SEO, where we are going to combine the power of GPT with another extremely powerful AI tool which is called vidIQ. And you will learn step by step how to create a video which has high demand for and low competition. We're going to give an actual practical example and proof it works in the lesson. After that, we're going to script an entire ebook from scratch so that you will have your perfect outline for your ebooks. So if you're interested in learning GPT, increasing your productivity as a student or business owner, learning how to problem solve with GPT, and leverage this extremely powerful technology to its max, I'll wait for you in the inside. Welcome and thanks for enrolling. Before getting into the lessons, I will quickly go over the class project of this class. In the assets of this course, you're going to be able to download a prompt list which we are going to create together in the last 3 lessons. And it's made of 3 prompts which will help you in specific tasks. What I want you to do in this class project is go ahead and create a prompt of your own by using the knowledge that I'll give you in this lesson. I will break down 12 different prompting techniques which will allow you to understand how to craft a perfect prompt for GPT. What you will do is go ahead and create a prompt for a specific task of your choice. Maybe a prompt which will help you in math problems. You get to pick the topic of your prompt, so that there is going to be a lot of variety in the prompts everyone is going to come up to. I'm going to review every single class project myself, so that I can suggest you any corrections that may help you with the output that GPT is going to provide you. How should you submit this class project? Well, to submit it correctly, you should type in the class project section a message divided into 3 sections. The first one being a small title for your prompt. Let's take, for example, the Instagram SEO prompt that I'm going to provide you in the prompt list. You're going to see that I could title it Instagram SEO prompt, then a small description of what it does. So in this case, it will help me search engine optimize my Instagram descriptions on my profile in order to attract more people to my profile which will be interested in my content, and then prompt, and I would type the prompt. That's how you should submit this class project so that I can review it, and I will then help you optimize your prompts. And without further ado, get into the first lesson where you're going to learn the basics, and I wish you a good learning. Get ready for your mind to be blown, because in the first 2 lessons, it's going to be pretty basic and stuff, but after that, we are going to skyrocket with insane prompting techniques. And without wasting any more time, let's log into ChatGPT. To do that, we simply type in openai.com. We are greeted with this interface. You can either click here on ChatGPT and then try ChatGPT, or right here, try ChatGPT. It will ask you to log in. You enter your email address, or you sign up if you have never done that, or you continue with Google, whatever you prefer, and you will be in ChatGPT. In this first lesson, we will talk about the interface because it looks pretty clean but there are some features which are slightly hidden and not really easy to see. So first, let's start by saying that there are two models, GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. GPT 3.5 is free and GPT-4 is paid. We are only going to use GPT 3.5 for this course. The Plus has access to GPT-4, which is connected in real time with the internet and the information. Meanwhile, the free version stops his knowledge at January 2022. However, I will show you a way to basically bypass this obstacle. Then in the GPT Plus, you can also use custom GPTs. You can also browse pre-made GPTs, create your own GPTs, or buy your own GPTs if you want, and therefore also sell your pre-made GPTs. I will consider making a course on how to make a GPT further down the line, but for now, let's stick to the free version. So we close it right here. The first thing that we're going to do is acknowledge this prompt bar. This is where we type in our messages. There are also 4 recommendations from OpenAI. We are going to go ahead and click one of them to see what happens. Let's go with come up with concepts for a retro style arcade game. It referred to me with my name. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And as we can see, we have 5 names, which also have a description below them, which describes the games that we asked for. Perfect. Once GPT has sent his message, you have 4 options at the bottom. The first one being copy, which allows you to copy and later on paste our message. Then we have good response, which tells GPT that it did a good job and it will keep replying in that same style. Bad response, which does the opposite. And regenerate, which allows you to regenerate the answer if you weren't happy. Once you have regenerated, you can say if it was better, worse, or same. And you can also go back to your first or second response as much as you want. As you can see, what GPT tries and do when you regenerate, it tries and switch up a bit the style of the response. As you can see here, it was 1 bullet point with a description. Here, to try and give you more information, it also is giving you a genre, as you can see, and change the style a bit of the response. Then here we have a button to share the chat. If you go ahead right here and click copy link, you will be able to copy and paste the link. And if you open a new tab and paste it, you will be able to see the chat. The other features of the chat can be found in the sidebar. Then by clicking on the 3 dots, you can choose again if you want to share it, rename it to whatever you want. And then if we go ahead and click archive, our chat disappears, but it's not deleted. And here we can click on new chat to open new chats. Now let's look at where are the archived chats, how to delete them, and much more. Let's now look right here in this section. If you click on your name, you can see logout, which of course logs you out. And then there are custom instructions and settings. Let's go on settings first. Here you can choose the theme if you want it light, dark, or system. You can check your archived chats. You can unarchive or delete. I'll unarchive so that it appears here. And then you can also delete all the chats that you have previously created. Keep in mind that if you delete it, you will never have access to it again. And even if you use the link that you had before. As you can see, if I copy in the link 404, this page could not be found. Now, regarding the other parts of the settings, there is data control. Here there is chat history and training. I highly suggest you to have this on, because what this allows the AI to do is use the chats that you have had to improve his own training, and it also allows you to save your chats for more than 30 days. Otherwise, they will just get cleaned out. And then you can also delete your account if you want, but I don't want to. So let's close this and let's go on custom instructions. Custom instructions allow you to get better responses from GPT, and you have 2 boxes to fill. The first one says, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? For example, if you're going to use GPT as a student, for example, in this case, you could type, I'm a student, 18 years old, which struggles with science and history, however is strong in math. So this will allow GPT to tailor his answers to your needs as a student in high school. And then you can also click here on show tips, which will show you the basic questions to which you can reply to gain better responses. And then there is, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? So for me, as I already said, I'm an egomaniac, so I have chosen address to me as Buzz. However, you could type something like, I like my responses to be in bullet points, extremely detailed, not necessarily professional, but with a simple language. You can also, if you want, reply in which language should ChatGPT respond. So for example, let's just say that you do French as a second language is cool. Could also type, whenever I type to you in French, reply to me in French. So if I now hit save and I say hello in French, as you can see, it's replying in French. This is the power of custom instructions. Just remember to click enable for new chats, otherwise every chat that you will create will not have these properties. Now that we have talked about the basics of the interface, we are about to move into basic prompt engineering. I don't want you to be scared from the names, because even though this sounds like scary, I guarantee you that I'll put it in a simple way so that even a rock can understand it. Last thing before leaving this lesson, right here on the bottom right, there is this small question mark. You can tap it and you can see the shortcuts which can help you. However, the interface is so clean that you don't really need shortcuts. Regardless, I'll see you in the next one. What is a prompt? A prompt is a set of instructions that you give the AI language model. There is a direct correlation between how good your prompts are and the responses of the language model. That's the whole reason I'm having this course. First, let's start with the basics of prompting. Let's create a really basic prompt. Give me the 5 key points I need to know while studying the Roman Empire. Once I enter, I will know that the main points are geography, so how vast it was, government and leadership, the military power, the engineering, and the cultural contributions. This is the most basic type of prompt, which, as you can see, it's really similar to what you would type in a Google bar. However, if you type in a Google bar the same prompt, where are you going to be directed? For example, the first website that pops is this one. If I click here, you're going to see studying ancient Rome is an incredibly fascinating and rewarding experience, etc., blah, 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 blah. That's not what we want. We want extremely concise responses without any BS, any time loss, any of that. And the reason a website does something like this is so that they keep you more on the website and you watch the ads. However, that's not what ChatGPT is doing. ChatGPT's objective is to give you the more value in the least time possible. Therefore, it's the best way of studying or asking for advice on the internet. To expand on a prompt like this, let's create a new chat, and this time let's take, for example, a language. Let's go ahead and ask it, what's the difference between yes and no in Italian? And then we're going to expand on it with provide me 2 examples. So I enter it and it says yes means yes, no means no. Here are 2 examples. Do you want a coffee? Yes, thank you. Are you hungry? No, I just ate. So you have just gotten the idea of what yes and no means in Italian with a simple prompt. Let's now talk about the third way of basic prompting. In this type of prompting, you have a basic information. Let's say, for example, that in this case, I have received an email from someone which is interested in buying my editing services, and I am a video editor. What I can do is paste the email that I received where someone asks me to get on a call to sort out some business. So I'm telling GPT, reply to this email, politely accept the offer, say that I am free on Tuesday from 6 to 6:30 UTC, and also convert the time to the EST time zone, which is his time zone, because he's in America. And now ChatGPT is going to write, as you can see, it left a placeholder to add the client's name, and it says we are free on this time, which is this time for you in EST time zone. And then again, it's polite. Please let me know if this time suits you or if you have an alternative suggestion. And this is the last basic prompting technique, which is simply asking GPT to write stuff for us. So I'll type, write a 500 words article on online courses marketplaces, and it is going to give it a title, paragraphs. As you can see, it has a conclusion and an introduction, which is perfect. It mentions a couple of platforms like Udemy, Coursera, doesn't mention Skillshare, which is really big. The issue may be that this ChatGPT is from 2022, which is pretty old, so it is not really updated to date. However, this is how you write articles, essays, subjects. And from the next lesson on, we are going to talk about specific strategies which are going to enhance your results in ChatGPT. The best is yet to come. All right, we're going to analyze over 10 techniques which will allow you to enhance your prompting to the next level. We'll start from easier methods and we'll move on to more advanced methods. But first, what's prompt engineering? Well, a prompt is a set of instructions, as we have said in the last lesson. Prompt engineering is making sure that our set of instructions improves every time. And to do this, we use a variety of techniques. And the main reason this is important is because it will allow you in the long term to save time while asking information to ChatGPT. Because the thing that you need to know is that ChatGPT knows basically everything. So it's up to you to ask the right questions in the right way so that ChatGPT can give you an appropriate answer. Usually when people type a prompt, they only type the ultimate goal. So for example, it may be write a 500-word article or tell me the 5 key points which are necessary to study the Ottoman Empire. So what I do is, for example, if I type a prompt like correct the sentence, I learning prompt engineering, and I send it, I have only talked about the goal that I want to achieve. And in fact, ChatGPT is going to simply reply with I am learning prompt engineering. Corrected, okay? However, this response isn't complete as it's lacking some information. For example, 1. What did I type wrong? I don't really know what I've typed wrong. Now, in this case, I can clearly see it because I forgot M and misspelled engineering, which you can see visually because the sentence was a short one. But if I'm correcting a long email, I would like GPT to give me more detail on why it corrected what it corrected, so that I can improve from my mistakes on my own next time, and also make sure that ChatGPT is not doing the wrong thing. Because sometimes, even in math and physics problems, sometimes ChatGPT is slightly wrong. It does a wrong calculation, it never fills the number, so if I ask 8 times 3, it's always going to be 24. It doesn't do mathematical errors in that way, but sometimes it misunderstands a formula and stuff like that. So I want to make sure to create an extensive prompt, which I will be then able to reuse in the future, or at least copy the style, so that I will always get the responses that I want in one try instead of going back and forth with GPT. The first way of improving your prompts is extremely simple, and I will provide a couple of examples in this lesson. I will simply go ahead and add context and examples. Let's start with the context first. Instead of saying correct the sentence I learning prompt engineering, I will go ahead and say correct this sentence, and I'll type it, and then consider that I'm a student which has to create an essay and I am not sure if this sentence is grammatically correct, so that I'm directly addressing my problem. So as you can see, it has corrected my sentence and given an explanation considering that I am a student. GPT said, this version maintains the present tense by adding the word am, as you can see, which wasn't present in the first version of the sentence. Let's go ahead and watch this content adding methodology from another more advanced perspective. Let's go ahead and say that I want to create a text inviting my neighbors to a barbecue. Let's copy this idea from OpenAI. As you can see, if I type in this simple message, write a short and sweet text message inviting my neighbors to a barbecue, I'm going to get this really general and broad answer. However, let's go ahead and improve this prompt even further. So I've gone ahead and kept the first sentence the same as before, and then I've typed the barbecue will be hosted at my house at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Explain that the weather looks like it's going to be sunny and it's a perfect opportunity to meet. I've already purchased the meat for the barbecue. Ask him if you can bring some beverages as well. By doing like so, ChatGPT is going to add way more detail to the message. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see, we went from a GPT vibe message. We are firing up the grills this weekend and we'd love to have you join us for a fun barbecue gathering. Good food, good vibes, and good company guaranteed. Looking forward to catching up, which sounds really GPT. However, in the second part, we are hosting a barbecue at my place this Sunday at 1 p.m. and the weather forecast looks sunny. which is way more specific and provides actual information to the other person instead of would love to have you join us for a fun barbecue gathering, which is of course the case, otherwise you wouldn't be messaging your neighbors anyway. Perfect for grilling. I've got the meat covered. Would you be able to bring some beverages? And then it says it's going to be a great chance for us to catch up and enjoy some good food together. Let me know if you can making, and then I would probably remove this part. But as you can see, we have already an improved response just by adding some context. And now, instead of adding context, let's add an example. To do this, let's create a new chat, and let's take once again the language example. So I've gone ahead and typed a prompt which includes example. In this case, it is correct this sentence following the structure of the example. I love ChatGPT because, and here's the reason I've typed. So if I now type, I would love to eat pizza every day, it's going to transform into, I would love to eat pizza every day because correct spelling of pizza become pizza and capitalize day to day for consistent capitalization. And as you can see, it has completely copied and pasted the structure of my prompt in the response, which is what we wanted. So now, in this lesson, we have talked about the first bit of prompt engineering. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Now we know how to add context and examples. In the next lesson, we're going to get on 0, 1, and few-shot prompting. So I'll see you there. We are now going to talk about 0, 1, and few-shot prompting. These are common prompt engineering techniques, which we have also used in the previous lessons. We are now here to define what they are and which ones are better. Zero-shot prompting is when we ask ChatGPT something in a more conversational way, providing actually zero context, and ChatGPT has to respond with some information that it doesn't have. And I'll give you an example because right now it's a bit abstract. Let's give a practical example of zero-shot prompting. So I'll go ahead and type, the basketball has a lot of weight. What's the sentiment of this sentence? As you can see, ChatGPT is going to simply reply that the statement is neutral because it's just indicating that the ball is heavy or substantial. There is no clear positive or negative sentiment attached to the statement. However, the reason ChatGPT has replied like that is because I have zero-shot prompted this sentence and it has given me a wrong answer. Inside ChatGPT, there is enough information to understand that the basketball has a lot of weight is a negative sentence. And the reason for that is if a basketball has a lot of weight, it doesn't bounce well. However, ChatGPT seems not to recognize this in this specific sentence. So if I go ahead and type, what are the consequences for a basketball having a lot of weight? And ChatGPT replied that it's difficult in handling, fatigue, injury risk, and impact or technique. So if I now go ahead and copy and paste all of the things that ChatGPT has just told me about what happens when you have an heavy basketball, and I then ask GPT, considering the difficulty in handling fatigue, increased injury risk, and the impact on technique, which is exactly what GPT has just told me, the basketball has a lot of weight. What's the sentiment of this sentence? ChatGPT is going to add and reply that the sentiment of the sentence is generally negative. It implies that the basketball being heavier than the standard regulation weight is problematic and undesirable. And this is one-shot prompting, when you give more context to the large language model, which in this case comes directly from ChatGPT. I've literally created this paragraph in another chat. And that's the reason why you should always add more context to your prompts. If you create a zero-shot prompt just like this with a sentence, and then you ask a question, whether it may be a sentiment or something else, it might simply give you a wrong answer because it does not know precisely where to pick the information from. Even if I didn't know what are the consequences for a basketball for having a lot of weight, and I'd like to know what's the sentiment, I'd simply ask GPT, then copy and paste the information, and then simply say, considering all of these that you have just said, what's the sentiment of this sentence? And as you can see, ChatGPT is going to give you a precise answer that considers all of the data that you have previously given him. I want to emphasize that ChatGPT sometimes doesn't know which data to pick. And the reason is simply a short and not precise prompt. If you make your prompts longer, give context that you don't even need to write yourself, I want to highlight once again. You can simply ask for context to GPT and then ask it to critically think about the sentiment or whatever you need. And this is one-shot prompting, providing context and then asking a question. And when it comes to few-shot prompting, is as simple as adding more context. So for example, in this case, instead of only adding what happens to a basketball when it's heavier, I could also add what happens to a tennis ball or whatever other ball in any sport. Or I could also add some physical laws which explain what happens when a ball is heavier. The more context you provide to GPT, the more precise and accurate your answer will be. If you provide a short prompt, you're going to have a small and not detailed nor correct answer. Another way to use few-shot prompting is to teach something to the model from scratch. One of the first ideas that come up to my mind is if you're trying to create a book for kids or something like that. In a fictional world, you might want to create new words which have no meaning in real life. And to create these, you simply need to provide context as we did before. However, instead of providing real context, you're going to provide fake context. So in this case, I could say, the verb froodling, I completely invented this, means jumping up and down in a happy manner. Provide me an example of this word being used. So if I now go ahead and hit enter, as you can see, Buzz couldn't contain his excitement when he heard about the news about his promotion. He began froodling around the office, his joy evident in every bounce. As you can see, as you provide context and information to the large language model, he is going to understand and apply as soon as you ask. You could also go ahead and type more context around the verb. You could ask it to conjugate it to all of the tenses that exist in the English language. Or you could even ask the large language model, I'm inventing a verb, please help me come up with a definition for the verb. And you can create a verb together and then feed once again the description to GPT, and it's going to flawlessly implement your verb. I could also go ahead in custom instructions, copy it here, save, by of course enabling for new chats. I go right here and I ask it, what does froodling mean? And as you can see, he's going to type like that, my definition, and also a slight add-on that he decided. So that's how you can teach ChatGPT new stuff from completely scratch and how to get good responses which are accurate by using one and few shot prompting. In this lesson, we are going to talk about one of the most important things that you can do, especially when asking for information to ChatGPT. And it is providing an output template in your prompt. What is an output template? It happens really often that when you ask ChatGPT for something, you're not happy with the way it provides you certain information. For example, if I want to go ahead and type in, give me the 10 best books that talk about war, and I enter, as you can see, I've gone ahead and received 10 books in a numbered list, as you can clearly see, and there is written the writer and a really small description, 2 lines. But maybe that's not what I want, because, for example, The Art of War is by Sun Tzu, and maybe I don't know who Sun Tzu is. And then it says, a timeless treatise on military strategy and tactics, offering valuable lessons on leadership, planning, and conflicting resolution. But I've read The Art of War myself, and this description doesn't really resonate with what it's actually in the book. So what I will go ahead and do is ask for a different output from ChatGPT, because I am sure it has the right information, I just didn't get fed what I actually wanted. And that's because my prompt wasn't good enough. So I'll go ahead and type, give me the 5 best books that talk about war and follow the output template. So basically the same prompt, however, I'll add the output template. Title, date, name of the author, small description of the author and his achievements in the military field, because I want to make sure that the person I'm learning to was actually someone that has fought. How is the information provided in the book? For example, if it's small snippets, quotes, multiple chapters, few and longer chapters, how many pages is the book, and what's the average review on Amazon? I'll go ahead and hit enter. I've also added include the art of war so that I've read it and I can verify that the output template was followed. And as you can see, we have the title, the date, the name of the author, and then his achievements are the fact that he was a Chinese military strategist and philosopher. How is the information provided in the book? Concise chapters, each focusing on different aspects of war strategies and tactics, which is true. It provides insights through short, insightful passages and anecdotes, which is really, really true. You can find a lot of quotes online that are taken from the book, and that's how the information is delivered. And then how many pages? It's of course always going to say that it varies depending on the edition, but typically around 100 pages. And then we have the average review on Amazon. Then we have All Quiet on the Western Front, which is from a soldier in World War I, as you can see. And then we go below, there is this book from a Vietnam War soldier, etc., etc. And as you can see, we have also the average reviews on Amazon, and I could ask ChatGPT, for example, to sort them out by the highest reviews, or I could ask them to sort them out by the shortest or the longest book, or by the oldest, the newest. As long as I provide a good output template, I'm going to get the information that I want as I want it. And you can either do it by literally outlining the output template or explaining it by words. So I could have said, make sure to include title, date, name, a small description, how the information is provided, just in a normal sentence. However, what I found is that by creating an output template like this, you're going to get way better and more outlined results. Let's go ahead and provide another example. So I go ahead and type, I'm learning prompt engineering, correct this sentence providing what I've written becomes corrected snippet because reason of the correction, and then I'll type outline in a bullet point format all the single corrections that you have done to the sentence following the output template. So I'll go ahead and hit enter, and as you can see, I have a bullet point format where it says this becomes this because I is capitalized to I, as the pronoun should always be capitalized in English. M becomes M for proper grammar. Learning becomes learning for the correct spelling. I've misspelled this thing. Engineering becomes engineering for correct spelling once again. And as you can see, it has followed the output template. So now I know what was corrected in my sentence and why. This is really useful when you're correcting, of course, longer essays. It's not that useful when you're correcting a single sentence. You could probably have seen the difference between this one and this one with your own eyes without asking for a review like this. But when you're creating longer essays, it's really, really useful to ask it to provide a description for each small thing that is modified. Another really cool feature that you can use regarding output templates is asking for CSV files and table formats. How do you do that? So if I now go ahead and type, can you order the following numbers in 2 different columns in a table format? One is for odd numbers and one for the even ones. I'll go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see, I have the odd numbers and the even numbers. I could also ask it to slightly modify these and say, add 43, 56, and 34. And as you can see, you now have your table. I could also ask it to order them from the smallest one to the biggest one in the table. As you can see here, I didn't provide the right output template by telling GPT to keep them in the table. I just told them to pick the numbers from the table. So it has given me the numbers like that. But then after a small correction here. It has given me the output template that I wanted. So they are now ordered from the smallest to largest. And I can also ask it to create a CSV file. As you can see, I'm going to get this CSV file that I can copy like this. And the reason CSV files are useful, which by the way stands for comma separated values. The reason this is useful is for creating Excel files. So for example, I can copy the data and paste it in the spreadsheet, which is going to create 2 different columns that I can use. So that's how to use output templates. You can use them in a variety of ways. It's infinite. You can use them for tables, bullet points. It's really useful for outlining or highlighting important information. I will now see you in the next lesson where we'll talk about roles and perspective prompting. In this lesson, we will talk about giving roles to ChatGPT and perspective prompting. They are techniques that go hand in hand, so we'll treat them both in this lesson. Let's start by giving roles. Let's go ahead and use one of the examples that we've used earlier, but by implementing the roles. Let's go, for example, with the grammatical correction example that we've used multiple times. This is a prompt that I usually use, and it allows me to prompt certain chats in a way so that I can have a list of chats that I can use when I have specific needs. And it basically works so that you give a prompt at the start of the chat, which says, in this case, act as a language tutor from now on. In this chat, I'm going to send you emails, messages, sentences, essays. I ask you to act as a language tutor and provide me with the grammatically correct version, explanation, and eventual vocabulary suggestions which would elevate my writing style. Once I send this message, ChatGPT is going to acknowledge this, and as you can see, it's language tutor assistant. I can even modify the name to correct my emails, for example, if I'll use this to correct my emails grammatically. And I can now go ahead and type in my message without having to prompt it. I can simply type in the message, copy and paste, or for example, let's use the sentence that we have used until now. So if I hit enter, that is going to correct the sentence for clarity and grammatical accuracy. And as you can see, it corrects it, and it explains with bullet points. And as you can see, it has acted as a language tutor. So I'm is the construction of I am, which is the appropriate subject pronoun for yourself. That's what an English teacher would say. Learning is the present of the verb learn, indicating an ongoing action. About is a preposition indicating the subject or area of study. Prompt engineering is capitalized as it seems to be a specific field of topic you're studying. And as you can see, it also has an encouragement message. And the main point that I want you to take is that you can give any role to ChatGPT, and it is going to enhance its performance every time. So if I go on a new chat, for example, let's go ahead and type the same prompt, and in one chat I will not ask it to follow a certain role, and in another one I will, so that we can confront the different responses. So on one side, I'll say, act as a business coach. The sales of my e-commerce stores have lowered recently. How can I enhance them? So if you confront the two responses, let's start with the business coach one. As you can see, the first thing that it tells you is to analyze customer behavior. Utilize analytics tools to understand customer behaviors on your website. Look for patterns in browsing, shopping, cart abandonment, and purchase history. Understanding your customers' preferences and pain points can guide you in tailoring your offerings and marketing strategies. As you can see, it's an extremely precise and detailed answer, which tells you to first understand what's the real problem. Look for the patterns in browsing, what's the shopping cart abandonment rate and the purchase history, all these kind of stats which will help you understand what's wrong. Then it says, optimize user experience, so that once you have understood what's the problem on your website, you can fix it, just like so. Then it talks about content marketing SEO. So once you have analyzed what's wrong with your website and you have fixed it, it's time to expand your reach. So you start going with content marketing, search engine optimization, high quality relevant content, etc., etc. It talks about target audience and search engine optimization. Then we have the idea of discounts and incentives to enhance the amount of sales. And it also talks about loyalty programs so that it incentivizes people to buy more. And then it also talks about limited time offers and free shipping and exclusive deals that create a sense of urgency, which motivates the customer to take action. And then it talks about customer engagement. So once again, analytics, review, and personalization. Then reviewing the pricing strategy compares to competitors, but adjusting it to remain competitive without compromising profitability. Then it talks about customer support and to offer multiple channels for communication such as live chat, email, phone support, etc. And then it also talks about KPIs, key performance indicators such as conversion rates, average order value, and customer acquisition cost, so that you can understand what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. And as you can see, this is an extremely well-studied response, crafted step by step to improve your e-com store as soon as you read this message. Instead, if we go on the message here without asking to be a business coach, as you can see, the response is a bit more broad and less defined and less precise. So here it talks about optimizing your website, so loads quickly, both desktop and mobile, all this kind of basic stuff. But once again, it doesn't talk about analyzing your customer data. So where should I even optimize my website? Am I going to improve my sales just by making it load quicker? That's not really a precise answer. And then if we go below, improve product descriptions and images, because it has a significant difference in converting visitors into customers. It says I should invest in professional photography and writing compelling product description that highlight benefits and features, which is something that surely is important, but maybe my problem is getting people on my website. I haven't tracked the data, so I can't really know if my problem is the conversion rate or attracting people on my website. And then it talks right away about customer service. However, this is something that you should do more at the end. As you can see, it talks about email marketing after customer service, but it's useless to prepare a customer service if you don't even have clients in the first place that visit your website. And then it talks about social media content. So once again, we have client acquisition, which is of course necessary, SEO, referral program, which is a good idea actually, that the business coach hadn't yet formulated. And then it talks about analyze data and metrics, and then it says stay competitive. But as you can see, let's compare, for example, this point with the one provided by the business coach right here. So if I look at this one first, as you can see, it says keep an eye on your competitor and industry trends. Continuously innovate and adapt your strategies to stay ahead of the curve and meet the evolving needs of your customer. Well, this sentence doesn't really tell me much. I already know that I have to follow trends. Yes, that's true. But it's an abstract response. Like, it doesn't tell me that to follow the trends, I should go on TikTok and search a certain hashtag or go on Instagram and search for a certain account. It's just really, really broad and just saying, make sure to innovate and adapt. But it doesn't tell you how. Instead, if you go to the business coach, it's way more precise. As you can see, it says, review your pricing strategy, action step, review your pricing strategy. It's already an action step. In comparison to competitors, so you can search competitors of your store which sell the same product or similar, and adjust pricing where necessary to remain competitive without compromising profitability. So it also gives you guidelines on how to review your pricing strategy. Consider dynamic pricing strategies based on demand, season, and market trends. So not only it gives some guidelines regarding profitability and competitor research, but also regarding the amount of demand, the season we are in, and the market trends, which is a way more precise answer than this one, as you can see. And that's why you should always give a role to GPT if it's relevant, to what you're asking, of course. In this case, it was because I was asking how to boost my e-commerce sales. And now let's move on to perspective prompting. At the start of this lesson, I told you that perspective prompting and roles go hand in hand, and that's because with perspective prompting, you ask ChatGPT to impersonate a certain person, which is similar to the role. However, when you ask for a role, you're asking it to act as a business coach or a language tutor, something general. Instead, when it comes to perspective prompting, you're asking him to be someone way more specific. For example, I have received an email and I'm going to ask him to impersonate me or impersonate my client or to impersonate the one that sent the email. I'll give you, once again, a practical example so that you can understand right away. Let's go ahead now and type an hypothetical scenario where I am a video editor and there is someone that is interested in my services. So let's play out this scenario in GPT so that I can get an email to respond to this guy. So I'll go ahead and type the first prompt. There is a guy named Bob that has typed to me because he's interested in my services as a video editor. If this was a real scenario, I would simply copy and paste the email that Bob sent so that I don't have to type anything and I can just let GPT do his job. However, since this is a fictional scenario, I'll go ahead and type this. So we'll go ahead and say reply to him saying that I'm interested and I would love to set up a call to discuss the opportunity further. I have a spot on Monday from 6 to 6:30 p.m. Italian time. Respond politely, and when you say the time, also add the time in his time zone, which is American EST. So now I'll go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see, hey Bob, thanks a lot for reaching out. I'm thrilled to hear that you're interested in my video editing services. I'm definitely interested in discussing the opportunity further. How about we set up a call? I have a spot available on Monday, 6 to 6:30 p.m. Italian time, which would be this time in EST in the US. Does that work for you? Looking forward to chatting you. And as you can see, I have completely automated my email response just by outlining the context, or I could have done it simply by copy and pasting the email that he sent. And that's the power of perspective prompting. You can use it in any way to chat or also for active problem solving. So let's go ahead and take this scenario a step further. I've gone ahead and typed, I've sent the email to Bob and he has seen the email but didn't reply for 7 days. What could be the possible problems that caused him not to reply even if he was interested in the first place? Act as if you were Bob. Which problems did you find? So I'll go ahead and hit enter, and as you can see, it's going to say, as Bob, there could be several reasons why I didn't reply to your email, even though I was initially interested. Busy schedule. Perhaps I have other tasks and projects, and I'm postponing this email. I forgot. Technical issues. As you can see, there might have been some technical issues with the email account. Considering options. So he's considering various video editors at the same time, or changed plans. The priorities or requirements for the projects might have shifted, leading me to delay responding until I have a clearer idea of what I need. Regardless of the reason, it's important for me as Bob to follow up with Buzz. So I'll now take this again a step further and say, now act as Buzz. Considering these possible reasons, what's the next step you would take? So I'll go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see, it provides me with 4 things that ChatGPT would do. The first one is following up politely. In the follow-up email, it would also offer alternative ways to communicate if email isn't convenient for him. For example, I could suggest scheduling a call at a different time or even communicating via a different platform, such as phone call or video chat. And I would also be patient and understand that maybe he has a valid reason for not responding. You're getting GPT's help in order to understand what problems could have caused him to not respond, what should you do, and basically problem solve this scenario. This can work in any kind of situation, any kind of communication, whether you're a student with a teacher, if you're at work with a colleague, a video editor with his clients, whatever it may be. Asking always for ChatGPT is always a good idea because it might provide insights that you haven't thought about. For example, I've had this scenario happen to me once and I haven't thought about the possibility of technical issues with the email. In fact, you could try to deliver the message in another way, for example, via Instagram or Twitter DM, and you're going to have a higher chance of responding. ChatGPT's opinion is always extremely good because it's completely rational. There are no emotions involved with ChatGPT, and when it comes to professional scenarios, acting rationally is one of the key things that you should do. I'll see you in the next lesson where I'll talk about personality prompting and descriptors. Let's now talk about adding personality to your prompts. This is extremely useful when it comes to writing with ChatGPT, whether it be blogs, articles, essays, YouTube scripts, whatever. Adding personality is extremely important to make your content not sound like a robot, because ChatGPT tends to make anything sound like a robot. I'll give you an example. Welcome to the buzz zone where curiosity meets creativity. From thrilling adventures to insightful discussions, this is where inspiration takes flight. Get ready to explore, learn, and ignite your imagination. This is buzz zone. I think this is one of the worst YouTube intros I've ever seen, and that's why you need to add personality to your prompts to avoid this kind of general, boring kind of content that GPT tends to create with these GPT words like thrilling, or sometimes it uses catalyst, all this kind of stuff that people can instantly tell it's GPT. So, how do you add personality? Well, you add personality by adding a style and descriptors. Let's start by explaining how to add style. So to create a style, we are going to create an email from a newsletter that we have just invented. And we have a newsletter that talks about online course marketplaces, how to monetize them, how to make money with them. So I will go ahead and create this email by first typing the content that I want to outline. So I've gone ahead and typed create an email that talks about how to monetize courses on online courses marketplaces such as Udemy and Skillshare. Keep it relatively short and do not include a final CTA. And now here's where the style comes into place. So I'll go ahead and type create an email in the style of, and here I have two options. The first one is to type a name of someone that has a newsletter. You can type any copywriter or any person you know, but the way I prefer to do this is by copy and pasting one of the actual emails that is used in the newsletter. So in this case, I will take an email from Andrew Tate newsletter. So I'll go ahead and copy and paste one of the emails that was sent in Andrew Tate newsletter, and I'll say, make sure to copy the spacing, vocabulary, style, and pacing. So I'll go ahead and hit send. And would you look at that? Now we have subject, maximizing profit from online course marketplaces. And then we have the email spaced as Andrew Tate's one. As you can see, 1-2 lines per paragraph, same here. And as you can see, there are short sentences. Harness the power of compelling content, craft your courses, embrace relentless innovation. Remember, success in this domain hinges not only on the quality of your content, but also on your ability to captivate and engage your audience. Embark on this journey of monetization. Channel your inner entrepreneur and seize the boundless opportunities that lie ahead. Forge ahead with each course you create is a testament to your ingenuity and vision. And as you can see, it has copied the style and the spacing of the email, and the vocabulary. Now, let's also add something else. Instead of making an email like this, I'll go in a new chat, copy the same prompt that I had before, and now I will add some descriptors. So instead of adding a style of another copywriter or someone that have written an email, I'll go ahead and type make it sarcastic with simple vocabulary. As you can see, this is a descriptor, sarcastic, which means slightly funny, and a bit provocative. As you can see, it starts, "So you already question knowledge, huh? We're about to dive into the wild world of monetizing courses on platforms like Udemy and Skillshare without losing your sanity. Know your niche. Pick a topic that's hotter than a jalapeno in a heat wave. Think how to train your cat to sing opera level niche." As you can see, it's a funny way to make an email. It's not serious at all. Your course title should scream "click me" louder than a toddler in a candy store. None of that introduction to basic stuff nonsense. Content is king or queen. Make sure that your content is juicier than a ripe watermelon. Get your hustle on social media, email list, and career pigeons. Use whatever you can to spread the word. Beg, borrow, or steal those 5-star reviews. They're like gold nuggets in the wild west of online learning. Cheers to your future fortune, or at least a decent side hustle. As you can see, it is given a fun angle to this email, even though the content is still there. As you can see, it has still given the insights that you need to create online courses. So you have to know your niche, the title, the content, engagement, the marketing, the reviews, updating your courses, the pricing, all of that stuff. The information is still there. It's just packaged in a way that is funnier, sarcastic, and not that serious. Although, I want to repeat it, the content of the email is still there and true. Asking for something and then adding the sarcastic descriptor will add this kind of twist, which will make your content way more enjoyable and digestible for the audience. If I go ahead and type the same prompt, but without any style or descriptors, this is what we get. You're going to find some GPT words, as I like to call them, which are some words that are used in basically every GPT response, such as tapping into, it's usually used. Compelling is used a lot by AI. Foster, as you can see, this is a really basic and unpersonalized answer. And that's the reason why, by using the prompt techniques that I'm showing you, you can enhance your results and stand out from the competition. Because nowadays, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to write their newsletters or their articles, blogs, or at least to help them out. But the thing is that if you can actually use prompts which would generate you a really good result, you have already a really good starting point. Personality prompting is really important because it allows you to stand out from anyone else. It allows you to give custom instructions to GPT regarding the style and the way it should say your certain information, and that's what's going to help you stand out from anyone else. Because while anyone else has all of these basic descriptions and newsletters and all that stuff, you can still create some good results in GPT if you give the right descriptors and stylizations. I highly suggest you to try a couple of things, pick a certain style that really works for you, and then use it every time you're creating a newsletter or something similar, and that's going to help you a lot. I will end this lesson by talking about how to access any information on the internet with ChatGPT 3.5. And the reason I'll do this is because we have kind of already done it 2 minutes ago, but I'll explain how this works. So basically, let's take, for example, an event that has happened after January 2022. For example, the Ukrainian versus Russian war. If I go ahead and type, "Give me a brief summary of the events that are happening in the Russian-Ukrainian war," and go ahead and send it, and as you can see, it says that this last update is in January 2022, but it cannot provide specific details because it doesn't have access to real-time information. Therefore, we are going to fix this. To do this, I'll go ahead and type, "There has been an escalation in conflict." I'll go ahead and copy the Wikipedia page. Please go ahead and summarize it. And ChatGPT is going to say that I cannot access or browse the internet, including Wikipedia. But the thing is, I'll go on Wikipedia and simply just copy all of this. I'll copy it until here because I don't really need the history. And I'll go ahead and paste it. and ChatGPT is going to now summarize everything. It's now thinking and getting the information in order. As you can see, it's going to start typing. As you can see, it's now saying that everything started in 2014, and then in 2022, there has been a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and it has kept going throughout 2023 and 2024. So we have now updated to date information regarding the Russia-Ukrainian war, and I could do this with everything happening, maybe some beef from some YouTubers. I could simply download a YouTube video, transcribe it with some website that you can find everywhere, and then just copy and paste this transcribe and ask ChatGPT to summarize the beef. Or I could do this with a book that has been released after January 2022. I would simply copy the summary in the chat and ask ChatGPT to summarize it. And in that way, I can access real-time information from the internet, even if I have ChatGPT 3.5. Now we know how to access the internet, give personality to our prompts, and add descriptors. So I'll see you in the next lesson, where we're going to finish our prompt engineering lesson by talking about laser prompting and prompt leaking. In this lesson, we will talk about two prompting techniques. The first one will increase the accuracy of the content that you create thanks to ChatGPT. Meanwhile, the second one will increase the rate at which you can learn prompt engineering to create better prompts every time you interact with ChatGPT. The first one is laser prompting. Laser prompting allows you to create specific answers which aren't general and allow you to focus on specific parts of a certain topic. That's why it's called laser prompting, because a laser is really strong in a really small area or surface. So let's go ahead and create some examples to make this less abstract and give you actionable ways to use this. Let's say that, for example, I ask ChatGPT to create a 500-word article about the evolution of technology. This is a broad topic, and I could include more detail, as we have done in the first lesson, which might be, as an example, include the invention of the smartphone. However, the way laser prompting works is, instead of adding context for the large language model to assess certain topics, we are going to reduce certain topics. So I'll try and explain it in a new chat. In this specific case, instead of saying include the invention of the smartphone and the first PC, I could also create a negative prompt where I say, make sure to start only from the first industrial revolution and ignore agricultural and physical innovation and inventions. Rather focus on digital inventions and innovations. So if I go ahead and type this, as you can see, it's going to start from the first industrial revolution. So as you can see, it's not going to start like here where I just talked about the evolution of technology. It starts from the prehistory, where it talks about rudimentary tools, because ChatGPT simply interprets technology as the advancement of also physical tools and inventions, not only digital. So if I want only digital stuff, I have to make it clear in the first prompt. And as you can see right here, it already starts with the 18th century. Here it gives an introduction to the digital age. And already from the second industrial revolution, as you can see, we have the telegraph and the telephone right away. We have networks. And we already get into the computer in the mid-20th century. Then it talks about electric computer, from room size behemoths to sleek personal devices. Talks about the main companies that have created them. And as you can see, it limits his knowledge to only the technical inventions which are related to computers and everything digital. So smartphones and stuff like that. We get to mobile phones, social media, everything which is digital and not physical. The main reason this prompting technique is important is because ChatGPT contains so much knowledge, which makes it hard for the large language model to understand which knowledge specifically do you want. So in this case, the problem isn't like in zero-shot prompting, which is the fact that the answers aren't correct, because in this case, this article is correct, all of the information is right. However, it doesn't really link together and it's not focused at all. ChatGPT had to manage the whole technological advancement created by mankind in 500 words from the prehistorical to today, which is basically impossible, which made GPT come up with a broad article which talks about prehistory, and then it talks about the ancient Egypt, and then Rome, and it starts to skip until the Industrial Revolution, just mentioning the things before, and then it skips once again 2 centuries in 5 lines because it has to go fast, which ends up in an article that says almost nothing because it's almost impossible to represent all the achievements created by the human race in a matter of 500 words. And another way to do this is, instead of asking to start from the first Industrial Revolution, I could ask it to start from 2020. So now it has only 2 years to create an article on, because the last update of ChatGPT was in 2022. And in this case, it's going to already talk about COVID, and it's going to talk about 5G network, and we have Zoom, Teams, Meet, Slack, instant messaging platforms. We have AI, machine learning, NLPs, OpenAI, ChatGPT, unprecedented innovation, of course, because we're talking about AI. We have blockchain technology. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, finance. And as you can see, it has talked about extremely niche stuff, which it didn't even mention in the first article. Stuff like blockchain and all the platforms that there are today. Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video. As you can see, it has managed to space into more detail from the entertainment to the communication industry, all of this stuff, because it had only 2 years to cover, which is still a lot. Let's now talk about prompt leaking. For prompt leaking, I am not actually going to go into a new chat, but into the old chats. The reason for this is prompt leaking is a technique which allows you to take an output that you have received from one of your chats that you actually liked. For example, let's go right here into the boost e-commerce sales, all right? And we have gotten this amazing response. As we have said in the last lessons, this was a good response, which gave me actionable steps and all of this stuff. So prompt leaking is divided into 2 parts. The first one is complimenting GPT. So I'll go ahead and say your response was extremely compliment, extremely compliment. I love the specific language that you have used, another compliment. Once you have complimented the response of GPT 4 or 5 times, ChatGPT is going to understand that his response was actually good and you really liked it. So now you're going to ask it, what's a prompt that I could have asked you to get a similar response in 1 try? In this case, I had actually used 1 try only, but this is really useful when you have gone through a long process with ChatGPT of back and forth, and you just want to get it done next time quicker, so you'll go ahead and send this. So as you can see, we have, as a business coach, so we have the role of concrete steps, so actionable steps, can I take to improve the sales performance of my struggling e-commerce stores. So in this case, ChatGPT suggests me not to say that the sales of my e-commerce stores have lowered and how can I enhance them. It simply says, how can I improve the sales performance of my struggling e-commerce stores? So I'll go ahead, copy this, and check if GPT said the right thing by copying it in a new chat. And as you can see, the 2 responses are extremely similar. So if I look at the first one, we have comprehensive analysis, and here we have analyzing customer behavior, same thing. User experience, we have it right here. It's the third instead of the second one, but basically the same thing. Content marketing and SEO, which right here is the 7th, but basically the same thing. Here we have customer understanding, and here we have the same thing with customer engagement. Then we have performance tracking and optimization, which is the same as here, monitor and iterate with KPIs. As you can see, the responses are extremely similar because we have used the prompt that ChatGPT suggested us to use. And that's why prompt leaking is extremely important. So let's summarize this course. We have analyzed how to create content with ChatGPT, and we have started from adding extra content and examples, to laser prompting, to give roles, to ask GPT to provide more specific and competent responses, to contextual prompting, which allowed ChatGPT to gain internet access and obtain every single information on the internet, to even laser prompting, which allows us to control specific parts of our topics in order to create a more niche down article, blog, script, whatever we need. We have then talked about zero-shot prompting 1 and few in order to obtain the maximum accuracy from our prompts. We have also analyzed output templates in order to obtain the information in the way we want, with whether it may be tables, CSV files, bullet points, text, paragraphs, whatever we want, from an outlining perspective. We have also understood how to tailor ChatGPT to our style with perspective prompting, adding personality and descriptors in order to ask GPT to have our own voice or the voice of someone that we know by providing samples or descriptors which will allow GPT to create content which is framed in a certain way. For example, we have used the example of the sarcastic descriptor, which allows you to create sarcastic text. And then we have also talked about the best way for you to improve your prompting techniques, which is asking ChatGPT itself, how was it so good at providing me an answer so that I can then recreate it in one single prompt. You will find the prompt leaking prompt in the Word document, as well as 3 prompts that we are now going to craft. The first one is going to be for Instagram description SEO. The second one is going to be for YouTube descriptions, titles, search engine optimization. And the third one is going to be a prompt which will allow you to script ebooks. So I'll see you in the next lessons where we're going to take our ChatGPT Masterclass into practice. We're now in the second part of the course where we're going to create a prompt list which is going to help us in social media search engine optimization, both for Instagram and YouTube. You can find these prompts that we're about to create in a Word document in the document section. You can copy them, tweak them. I'll show you the framework now to create these prompts by using all the information that I have just taught you. First, let's analyze how a winning description of a profile on Instagram looks like. I've taken 5 examples. I'm not gonna take more because they're all the same. As you can see, a good description on Instagram is divided into 3 sections. The first section is a simple line, and it's just describing what the account or the agency does. As you can see right here, we help business owners build and monetize personal brands. And then there is the social proof section, which is the second one, generated 1 billion client views. And then there is a call to action. In this case, it's download free video templates right here. It might also be a direction to the paid website right away, but I'm sure if I click on this link, they're going to either ask for my email so that I'm subscribed to their newsletter so that they can funnel me into their paid programs, or it's a comprehensive website which includes all the free content, and paid services probably. Then we have Natjongzala, for example. Same structure. What do? Social proof, pre-value, or redirection to a funnel. As you can see, there is the link tree here. When you click, for example, on this link tree, you get redirected to 2 free resources, and then you get funneled into their Discord server. Then we have another content creation page. As you can see, who are they? 2 guys helping you grow your personal brand from 0 to 100K in less than 2 months. So here's the social proof once again. As you can see, there is free value once again, and their paid program or free value that funnels into the newsletter and then funnels you back into the program. But if I also change niche, for example, in this case, I have a motivational niche. As you can see, it's Vozen right here. And as you can see, the structure of the description is still the same. What do we do? Social proof and how to learn our secrets, or basically funneling into paid programs or free values, etc., etc. As you can see, for example, they have the Vozen formula, which is $100, and then there is a lot of offers. I'm not going to go too deep about all the offers that Vozen has, but as you can see, you're getting funneled into different options that they have. There is a mentorship, one-on-one calls, etc., etc. And that's the point of the call to action. And then we also have bold motivation, still in the motivational niche. Unlock your potential. So what do they do? Motivation once again. Social proof, mastering editing and socials. They have a lot of followers here on YouTube, probably even TikTok. And then join our community. Again, you get funneled in their course. We have now the structure of a good Instagram description. However, what does it take to make it search engine optimized? Let's look, for example, at Demi Yato. What is he aiming at? He has an agency and he wants to give value and sell his services to people which can afford him. So what does he talk about in his bio? He claims that he's going to build and monetize your personal brand for business owners. Then in the social proof part, he talks about 1 billion client views, which is a really big number. And then this little part is not really important. He just talks about how he's going to give you free video templates. But as you can see, there are a lot of keywords right here, which are business owners, build, monetize, personal brand, 1 billion, video. So every time someone searches up one of those keywords, he's going to be in the top results, as he has a lot of followers and he has those keywords in his bio. If we go, for example, on this page, as you can see, what are the keywords? Once again, personal brand, grow, 100K, grow once again. If we look at, for example, Vozen, he has motivation, motivated. So every time someone looks up for motivation, which is what Vozen is known for, he's going to pop up as the first result. And then if we look, for example, at Bold, they have more of a editing approach. As you can see, if I go on their website, they're trying to sell you a course where they teach you how to edit specifically, as you can see. So what they're trying to do is put master editing and socials in their bio more than motivation. As you can see, you can't find motivation right here. You can only find it in their name. And that's because they want to be found for the editing more than the motivation part, because their main selling point is that they're good at editing and they've went viral over and over, as you can see from the views. So now that we have had an introduction of winning Instagram bios, let's create a prompt which will perfectly create a description for us. First, let's start with the goal. I want to create an Instagram description. Full stop. The description should be divided in 3 parts. What do I do? Social proof and freebie. And then I'll also add, here is one example from a content marketer, and I'm going to paste Devin Yato's description, as you can see, right here. And then I'll also type in, here's one example from a motivational page, and type in the Vozen's bio. And I'll finish it by saying, if you have understood the template, I will now send you the details of my account so that you can tailor the template to my niche and services. As you can see, GPT has said, sure, I understand the template. Please go ahead and provide the details of your account, including your niche and services, so that I can tailor the template accordingly to you. And now we'll go ahead and type, I am a video editor which has generated over 50K views for my clients. And as you can see, here's what we have got. Elevating your storytelling through video editing, over 50K views generated for our clients. Unlock free editing tips and tricks below. And here you can have your website or contact info. And what should you do here? Well, you can either create a simple 10-page ebook or a simple 30-minute tutorial, a free course, something really small, but that will provide value to your followers. It's not hard at all, but as you can see, we have a good description. Let's now try for another niche. And now I'll go ahead and type, I am a motivational page that aims to motivate people into becoming better. Let's see what GPT comes up to. As you can see, igniting transformation for better lives, inspiring over 50K followers to reach their potential. Dive into our empowering secrets below. Your website contact info. And now let's try and change our subject once again. We are no longer a motivational page. Let's say that now I am a wedding photographer. However, I'm pretty new in the industry and I only have, let's say, 6 months of experience, which doesn't really look too great in an Instagram bio because you usually want to exceed confidence, and 6 months is not even a year, so people might not take you seriously. So how do you improve that? Well, let's say you have had 2 clients per month, which is extremely possible for a wedding photographer, which turns out to be around 12 clients in the whole 6 months period. So what will I go ahead and do? Instead of saying with 6 months of experience, I will say over 10 epic clients, and then show their testimonials in my website. So I will go ahead and type this to GPT so that it can create a good description. So I'll type, let's change now. I am a wedding photographer with over 10 epic clients, and their testimonials are on my website. So I'll go ahead and do that. And as you can see, capturing timeless moments on your special day, delighting over 10 plus epic clients with lasting memories. And then there is the section of the testimonials. However, I go ahead and type, that's a good description. However, search engine optimize it by including more words relating to wedding and photography. And as you can see, wedding, photography, expert, trusted, stunning memories, epic couples. Change the last line from focusing on the testimonials to my previous work, which is on the website. And as you can see, there is view our portfolio on our website. If I want, I could also change the last sentence to something like, instead of directing to the portfolio, direct them on a one-on-one free call. And as you can see, book your free one-on-one consultation today. That's also a really good call to action to add. And that's perfect. We now know from scratch how to create a good Instagram bio. You will find this prompt right here in the Word document. I highly suggest you to modify these examples to something more related to your niche so that ChatGPT can understand better what you're talking about. As you can see, it struggled a bit with photography because it had nothing to do with the first descriptions that we gave him. However, with content and motivation, it was way better from the start. That's because I gave him descriptions regarding content and motivation. Therefore, I highly suggest you to tailor the examples. It's going to take you a second to find the best descriptions in your niche. You just have to type wedding photography and you're surely going to find them in the first results. So that's how you create Instagram descriptions, and I will see you in the next lesson where we are going to talk about YouTube search engine optimization. Here we are on ChatGPT, and we are now going to look at how to search engine optimize our titles and descriptions for YouTube videos. We're going to use GPT only to write the description and the videos, but to do the research on what actually works and what doesn't, we are going to use another tool, which is vidIQ. vidIQ offers you way more options. If you upgrade to their premium version, you can find some affiliate links on the web, on YouTube, which will allow you to use vidIQ premium for 1 month for only $1. Otherwise, it's going to be $50 per month. Regardless, we can still use the basic version to do basic keywords research, tags, and all that kind of stuff. Here we go. I am currently in an incognito window so that I get completely new recommendations from the algorithm which aren't influenced by my previous searches and history. And how does SEO work on YouTube? Well, there are three things to take into consideration. The first one is the title, the second one is the description, and the third one is tags. However, this video doesn't even use tags. I'll later show you how to create tags, but it's a really quick and not really important process. When creating a video, it's important to look at keyword research because it's going to allow you to evaluate if your video has the chance of becoming successful and viewed. Let's talk about the most important metrics when it comes to keyword research. The first one is search volume. So I'll go ahead and type Midjourney as an example. As you can see, there is a search volume of 1,300,000 searches, which is extremely high. And then the second important metric is the competition. As you can see, the competition is really low. There are only 35 videos on average, which allows Midjourney to be a really good keyword. Now let's go over and try with something else. Mr. Beast. As you can see, for Mr. Beast, there is a really high search volume, but a really high competition. And when you're trying to make a video, especially if you have a small channel or it's your first video, you shouldn't go in a market with high competition because the people with more subscribers and better quality videos are going to stand out better. Let's go back to Midjourney. As you can see, vidIQ says it has a good overall score because it has high search volume and low competition, so we could go ahead and make a video on Midjourney. However, I am not going to title my video on Midjourney simply Midjourney. So let's go ahead and niche down once again on the keyword. As you can see, we have Midjourney version 6, how to use Midjourney, and a Russian title. We're going to ignore the Russian title. Let's go ahead and click on Midjourney version 6. And as you can see, there is a really high search volume and an extremely low competition. Why is that? A simple Google search will tell us that the version 6 of Midjourney was released 2 months ago only, which makes it pretty new. Therefore, people are not really updated and want to find out about the new features and all that stuff. We can niche down once again to Midjourney version 6 tutorial. As you can see, it still has around 20k searches and low competition. However, I would stick to Midjourney version 6 and maybe change the keyword. So if we go right now on the related keywords, we're going to find Midjourney tutorial, the features, and the rumors. So let's try and click on the tutorial. Tutorial still has high volume and low competition, which could be a good idea to make a video on. If I look, for example, at Midjourney AI tutorial, once again, we have some really good stats. So Midjourney looks like a really hot topic on YouTube. Let's take, for example, Midjourney V6 tutorial. It has a medium search volume and low competition. Let's now check if this is true on actually YouTube. So how do we do that? Well, we open an incognito mode, we go on YouTube, and now I type Midjourney, and as you can see, there are all the keywords that we have found before: AI tutorial, tutorial, V6. I'll go with V6, and then the keyword we were looking for is tutorial with a lot of search, so it should be on the first ones, and in fact it's the second one. And if I click, I'll find that there is a lot of search volume. As you can see, 24k, 235k, 103k, and these videos are all pretty new. So how would I go about this? I'll go ahead and check if these channels, which are ranking first, have really high subscribers or they're just small channels. So I'll open them on a new tab by clicking the scroll wheel on the mouse. So if I check it, the AI grid, it has a bunch of subscribers. Cyber Jungle has 40k. However, his video that we have just watched has made 5 times his sub count, which is pretty good. This guy has 41k subs and he has made double his sub count from this video that we have just seen. And this last video that was just posted 2 days ago already has 14k views, which means that the search volume is actually extremely high. Now we are sure that this keyword is extremely good to create a video. So if I had a channel in any way related to generative AI, I would surely make a video on Midjourney version 6. I will go ahead and type this prompt, which you will find in the Word document. What I said is I want to create a YouTube video about Midjourney V6, which is a topic that was just released. It's an AI image generator. I want you to create a title for the video. I will send you 4 titles to take inspiration from, in order from the one that performed the best to the one that performed the worst. And then I've just copy and pasted the titles from YouTube. And then I'm also going to expand on my videos by saying my video is going to be an hour in-depth tutorial of how the update has affected Midjourney and the best way to leverage it to create amazing stuff. And then going to finish it by saying, give me 10 title ideas. As you can see, we have the first one, which is Mastering Midjourney V6, Unleashing the Power of AI Image Generation, which is pretty good. Exploring the latest Midjourney V6 features, a comprehensive tutorial. This one might look really well. Harnessing the full potential of Midjourney V6, Advanced Technique Revealed. This one is really good as well. The Ultimate Midjourney V6 tutorial from basics to pro tips. I've gotten some really good results. I could also simply send a new prompt, like give me 10 more, and he's going to give them. But really, there are some that are really good, and I think they would perform really well on YouTube. Especially this one if I'm doing a complete tutorial, or this if it's just advanced features, or this if it's talking about the update in the specific. It honestly depends from which angle I'll take the video from, but I got some really good results. And now let's go ahead and create a description. Regarding the description, the prompt I came up to is simply create a fluent description now. Make sure to keep it around 8 lines long. You can merge keywords. And then I'll also say which includes the following keywords. And there we go, we have it. Are you ready to navigate the exciting world of Midjourney V6? The cutting-edge AI tool offers a seamless Midjourney, expert tips and tutorials, Midjourney's innovative features, harness the power of Midjourney AI, comprehensive tutorials, step-by-step guides, this is a really good one as well, crafting prompts. Let Midjourney V6 be your trusted companion. This is a really good description, which includes basically all of the keywords that we have said earlier, and will help our videos rank high on the search results. And regarding the tags, I'll keep it really simple. I would simply copy and paste these into the tags part. Tags are not that important, especially on YouTube. They are a bit if you're trying to create a new channel and the algorithm wants some direction regarding who it should suggest your videos to. But if you have an established channel, or even if it's new, it's not that important. You can just copy these 10 tags, which are the basic keywords. You're good to go. So now we have completed the keyword research on YouTube. Make sure to download the prompts in the Word document. Let's go over the final lesson of this course. Here we are going to talk about scripting an ebook with ChatGPT. We are not going to create an ebook from scratch, as that would take probably another full-on course. As creating an ebook requires a lot of time, but it's always the same repetitive action. So what we will do in this lesson is go ahead and script it and create the chapters. The rest of the work would simply repeating the same prompt by simply changing the chapter every time, and I'm not going to bore you with that. I will probably create an ebook anyway, because that's something I have wanted to do for a while, and I'll do it, of course, by using ChatGPT and rewriting some parts, because that's the most efficient and best way to do it. An ebook is really good for 2 reasons. The first one is you can use it and gift it from every social media platform you're on. Just gift a 10-page ebook on whatever you're doing. If you are in the cooking niche, just make a book with 10 different recipes and just gift it to your following. and that's going to allow you to gather their email addresses through a website like Gumroad. And once you have their email address, you can add them to your email list and sell them via email. Another way is directly selling the ebook. I suggest to go for a cheap price, around $5 to $10. I think it's the best price to sell an ebook at. But I'm not going to focus on the marketing aspect of an ebook. We're just going to script it right now. With these general kind of long processes, like creating an ebook, which is going to be around 50 pages or something like that, I usually do a 2-step scripting process with ChatGPT, and I let him know in advance so that he knows how to reply to me and what to answer me. Because if he tries to script the whole thing at once, it's going to just give me a too broad, not really defined, not specific answer, and we do not want that. We want the outline to be extremely clear. So I'll go ahead now and type, I want to write an ebook. So I've gone ahead and typed now the subject. Subject is going to be social media content, the ways to approach it, create it, what's required to set it up, how to be successful in it, how to analyze your past results in order to improve, but not the ways to monetize it. In fact, that's going to be another ebook completely on its own, because monetizing on social media is plenty of options, and you need to choose carefully the ways to approach the marketing and the money making on your YouTube channel, because anyone above 1,000 subscribers on YouTube or 2,000 followers on Instagram can make loads of money every month if he's smart about it. But that requires another 50 pages on its own at least to outline all of the possible scenarios to set it up. I'm going to create an ebook probably on that as well. But for now, let's focus on how to approach social media content. Now that we have the subject and the goal, let's go ahead and type what do we actually want from ChatGPT. So I've gone ahead and typed, I want you to create 10 chapters which subdivide the information listed in 10 bullet points. So we have put also the output template. Now I will add a clarification. And then I typed, do not write the chapters. I only want the title to figure out if we are on the same page about the content we are going to type. So I'll go ahead and hit send. And as you can see, we now have understanding your audience. So target our study, pretty good. I'm going to add this. Crafting compelling content, strategies for engagement and impact, really good. We're going to have to add it as well. Platforms and presence, choosing the right channels for your message, extremely good. We're going to have to leverage some specific social medias depending on our message. Art of consistency, so how important it is to be consistent every day. We're going to add this as well. Leveraging visuals, so how to create eye-catching content. However, we have said kind of the same thing in point 2. How to maximize reach, important. Engagement strategies, analytics study, the power of storytelling. And I will avoid the part of trends, as this is an ebook, digital product that you type once and you don't really reuse once again. So I'm just going to delete this part. So after a prompt like this, I would go ahead and retype to GPT. So I've gone ahead and typed, all right, we'll start the ebook with this chapter that ChatGPT already provided, which is a target author study. And then I said, we're going to proceed with this one right here. After that, we'll go with chapter 3, the recipe to be successful. And I have added some of the chapters that he has said, just in a smaller and compressed version, as you can see. And then I simply added chapter 4 with the technicalities of gear, editing, assets, all that stuff. And then I also want to create a small masterclass on short form content. So I've added this and just a brief description. And in chapter 6, I have applied the chapter 8 that ChatGPT has provided, which is analytics. So I'll now go ahead and type, create an outline following these 6 chapters, and now a small description per each chapter. Perfect. Now we have 6 chapters for our book, and we have a small description. How would I go about creating the ebook now? So I'll go ahead and type expand on this chapter, which is the first one, and then I'll say make sure to provide valuable information and leave placeholders when you don't know the answer or you believe it's outdated. Be extensive, but don't waffle. So I'll go ahead and hit enter, and look at this. We now have a small introduction, and we have demographic analysis, interests and preferences, analysis of behavior, personal development, content personalization, and also optimization and adaptation to changes of the audience. This is an extremely good outline for our first chapter. So what I would go ahead and do is simply say, now put all of this information in a cohesive paragraph without it being bullet points. And I would simply get the chapter 1 and then repeat it for chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we will have our ebook. Regarding the design part, I suggest to use Canva because it's really easy to use. You just go and create a design, search for ebook, you click it. Here you have a lot of ebook templates. As you can see, I could paste this right in, and then if I go forward and create more pages, I can go ahead and copy, for example, these templates right here and get already pre-made templates. I can change what's written here. So for example, social media content, social media, and then go right here and say, instead of a journal about fitness, health, and lifestyle, an ebook about growing on social media. I would research this more. I would probably ask ChatGPT once again what could be a good subtitle for this ebook. However, as you can see, for example, here, I wouldn't use a page like this for my ebook, as the information I'm providing, it's really extensive, and I cannot just describe it in this small box of text. If I go back, as you can see, there are plenty of templates. There's really a lot. You can also go on ebook pages, and you will find straight up pages instead of full-on templates. I could copy this right here, and it's really straightforward. It's not going to take too long to create an ebook. The biggest part is just creating the text. We have now learned also how to create an ebook with ChatGPT and how to design it pretty quickly with Canva. I didn't go really too deep in that because I don't think there is too much need. The hardest part is just to get the information going, and that's where you're going to use ChatGPT. And then you can simply use Canvas templates to create an ebook. They have templates for business, for time management, productivity, all that good stuff. So it really depends on your niche. So thank you for following this course, and I will see you in the next lesson when I'm going to wrap up all this course and tell you where you can find more valuable information. I'll now show you how to get the assets. So I'll go down here, and as you can see, there is project and resources. I'll click on this, and then I will scroll down on download resources and just download it. And now we'll be able to have this in my download folder on the PC. So I'll just open it up. And as you can see here, we have our prompt list that you can use. The first one is for bios for Instagram. Then we have the YouTube titles and description SEO, and then the ebook structuring. So if you enjoyed this course, I would really appreciate if you can leave a review, and I wish you have an amazing day.